Hey YouTubers, my name is LaShonda Stevens and I posted some videos already to my YouTube page without an introduction of who I am. But I'm going to be doing some videos here shortly and moving forward that I want to just post to my page. Facebook as well as Instagram, but Instagram in particular, I find to be a daunting and limited medium to post a lot of videos, especially regarding my gardening content. Um, just to give you some background information, I'm from a little town in South Carolina called Bowman. It's in between Columbia and Charleston, and it's near a town called Orangeburg, South Carolina. And if you know anything about South Carolina, just maybe Google the Orangeburg Massacre to give you a little bit more logistical information regarding Bowman. It's in the cut of I-26 and I-95, so it's a lot of dairy land. It's actually a dairy town. It's a little small town. Up until a few years ago, we had a high school in the town of Bowman, but they built a new school and it's called Bethune-Bowman, and it's a K through 12 school. But while I was attending, or while I was living there, I lived in a rural, if you can imagine the little town that I'm from. I actually grew up in the rural area of that little small town. And so my grandmother was one of those people. She was very into living off of the land. You would even say, I would even consider us to be people that were raised kind of like on a farm. My grandmother had hogs and pigs. She had chickens and chicks. Um, she had a lot of like little small dairy, animals, little farm animals, and we were raised on that. Periodically, I can remember my grandmother butchering hogs. I could remember her raising those chicks into chickens and using the eggs and then killing the chickens, hanging them up on the clothesline, and we would have chicken, cooking the chicken, peeling the feathers and all that. We had deer meat. We had coon, which is, funny. Right now, I live in the Charlotte, North Carolina metropolitan area, specifically Mint Hill, North Carolina, but it's very close to Charlotte. And I still consider this to be country because this is the South. But Charlotte is definitely a metropolitan area. But I love the small town feel of Mint Hill. It's not particularly a good hair day for me today, but I wanted to go ahead and put the introduction on here just so you could see who I am, know who I am, and look for more content from me. But anyway, going back to my grandmother, on top of raising little farm animals, she was very much into gardening. She had her and my Uncle Ricky, as a matter of fact, let me give him some credit too. My grandmother had flowers galore. She had a garden on the side of her house that had plenty of flowers. Any and everybody in our family that wanted to add some color to their lives, they would come and get maybe a piece of a flower from my grandmother. And let me tell you how she got hers. I don't know how it all started with her because, of course, my she'll be 81 in August. And so I don't know where she got started, but I would imagine that being, a maid for so long, she couldn't really afford to go and buy things out of the stores. So she had to make. She comes from an era of people who made things, whether that was sewing, whether that was growing, whether that was raising animals in order to feed her family, to take care of her family. And I was born in 1979, So I kind of was raised on the tail end of that. I do remember certain things, but I was very, very young. I think this was into, it's probably pre kindergarten and into my kindergarten, first grade years. It wasn't until maybe second or third grade that my mom moved out of the house. And so our contact with our grandmother decreased. We were still down the road, but again, she had flowers and fruit and vegetables in her garden. She had a peach tree that grew in her yard. I remember that specifically. And then we would walk down the road and pick um, blueberries. Was it blueberries? Blackberries. It was blackberries, strawberries, things like that. But my grandmother was one of those people, because my mom worked a lot. My grandmother was one of those people who brought me to, or brought me along with her. I have a brother and twin sisters who are all younger than me. So my grandmother would get us all and take us in a car, and we would ride around Bowman, St. George, the Dorchester area, Holly Hill, and on to my aunt Helen's town, which was Cross, South Carolina. And she would maybe see a plant on the side of the road, and she would go and cut a piece off and bring it back, plant it in her garden. So she definitely had a knack for living that life. And for me, how I got started here in Mid Hill, my daughter was in third grade, and I guess they have a program at her school, the Bonnie Cabbage program, which you can look that up, www.bonniecabbageprogram.com, or you can see the hashtags on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, and see how people are growing their cabbages. But my daughter brought it home, and she said that she had to turn it in. She had to grow this cabbage and then turn it in. And of course, with the instructions, it will require her to turn it in when she entered fourth grade. So what we did was, when she brought that home, my husband went and bought some plant food and some soil, and we planted that, and that kind of re-sparked my love for wanting to plant stuff. So I went in, I got some cilantro, I got some peppermint, I got some onion chives, I had tomato plant, and the cabbage plant. Oh, cilantro. Yeah, I said cilantro. And that kind of started my garden. My onion chives died. My cilantro, when I harvested it, um, I didn't, I guess, harvest it right. So it didn't regrow. I mean, I really just did this because my daughter brought home the cabbage plant, and I didn't do a whole lot of research. I was just like, oh, since we have the cabbage, I might as well go ahead and get a tomato. I might as well go ahead and get this. And every time I go into Walmart, because that's where I bought all of these things from, I will see something that I want to add to my garden. But over the last few months that I've been posting things on Instagram, so if you want to go to my page is private, but if I look at your content on your page and see that it's, you're not a troll, then I'll probably add you if you request it. My Instagram page is at Shonda underscore J underscore Stevens. That's SHONDA underscore J as in Jordan underscore STEPHENS. That's my Instagram page. So I'm trying to avoid the trolls right now. So if your page looks like you're just wanting to get information on me, I'm probably not going to add you. However, I'm not perfect, so if you get in and you find some information out on me, you'll get deleted. And you won't get any very much information on me anyway. So, but anyway, I digress. Also on Facebook as LaShonda Stevens. I go by Shonda. That's what my family calls me. I have natural hair. And some people in my family don't like it, but it's okay. I have gray streak in my hair. Most of the time, you'll catch me in my house, or if you catch me outside, I'm wearing a wig. It's 90 to 100 degrees most days in the Carolinas, so it's way too hot for wigs. So that's why I stay indoors, stay cool, and yeah. So that's about me. So anyway, going back to the garden. So after the onion chives died and the cilantro didn't regrow, I went ahead and added watermelon and cucumber. And so I have quite a few things in my apartment garden. And when I say apartment garden, it's just on my patio that I, grow these things. But in doing so, I'm learning so much. I'm realizing that it is very much a daunting task. It's something that you have to be diligent and vigilant at. You definitely need to be paying attention to the types of insects and disease that might go on your plants. And it's probably going to start raining here in a few because I feel a couple of drops. But that's just things that I'm seeing that you have to worry about when it comes to apartment gardening. So that's me in a nutshell. I'll be posting more content. Please like and share. Also comment on my videos and let me know what suggestions you might have. We're going to see how this thing goes.